Hello, hello, this is Pigsy. Have you ever had an alien hitchhiker? Sounds a bit strange, not exactly something comes on the road and puts his hand out. It doesn't look human. Well, it could be, I mean, something that could have happened as well. I'm sure there must be some spooky stories out there where people have picked up hitchhikers and, you know, maybe they've dropped them off and they got around the corner and disappeared or something. Lots of interesting stuff. Okay, where you go, man? Oh, it's turning around. No, I just know. Anyway, I know my steering wheel makes a funny noise, but I had. Yeah, that's fine. You just missed the car. That's fine. So what did I have? Yes, I just heard this like noise. A little bit like grudge, and then also it was like a mixture between a wasp and a creaky noise, but it was like it's not quite the same as my car was making. I mean, it was around my car. I was thinking, this is strange. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder if I've actually picked up something with me, and how would that work? Well, I'm assuming that we form attachments with entities, and one of the ways we form. Oh, crumbs. I'll let these go. Actually, someone right behind me now. No. Okay. It's always wild. The thing is that we contain water, and water can create a kind of resonance with our body. It's a liquid crystal, but it also holds a memory. So if something engages with you, it's likely to leave a memory in your body in some way, you know, like a frequency or a mark or a fingerprint, and that gives it that attachment. Because if you're an energy-based life form, purely in a kind of quantum spectrum, we might as well say, it doesn't quite work like that. And it's that they've got that knowledge of how to access that. It's within it. I guess it's within us as well. It's just a consciousness connection, so we can think where we are and we're instantly there. And so they've had things where, like, there was a picture of someone with an alien on a plane. Someone took a picture, but there's a creature behind this man on the plane, and it looked like an alien grey. And you think, well, what would that be doing on the airline? How did that catch a ride? But maybe it's just interested in technology, behaviour. They're like the watchers, some of these beings. I don't know what they're exactly doing. Maybe they're sort of protecting the timeline, or preserving it in some way, or there to sort of act as a guide in the background for you. I don't know. I mean, some things that might be harmful, but their intentions seem a bit unusual. You know, like an invasion. They spent a long time, they spent 100 years planning an invasion on Earth. And I guess we're through this next stage in reality with like the corona. So where would that lead? And the reality is that the normal life you knew doesn't exist anymore, because it feels like this corona is going to be around for a long time, and it's just a plague that's you know, it's just basically quite devastating. Well, it's probably why whites are such a large population, why whites, Caucasians, I should say, are a majority size race, is because we're quite disease resistant, and in the past we've brought plagues to other tribes which have wiped them out. So if we haven't been at war with them, we've still killed them off with disease. This is different because it also can hit us as well, the Caucasians, so it brings the population down. It's a natural part of nature's population control. I mean, if you're healthy, and I guess you're looking after yourself well, and also other things, they say that disease is triggered also by environmental stress. So people that are asymptomatic have just got like basically a time bomb on them. If their health deteriorates, this thing might flare up. That's why it's best to and all the social and mental well-being. So it's best to keep yourself in a positive frame. It's just that it gives it higher energy levels. And there's other things like your body produces dopamine, it's healthier, and it also helps to regenerate, I believe. And why endorphins, that's what it is, isn't it? Endorphins, and there's a nora one, it causes pain, and it also causes shrinkage as well in nerve tissue and things. So it does a kind of reverse effect. So it doles out your pain. Because your body's got used to it. When that's there, it means there's injury, there's some problem, therefore we need to pull away from that. However, if something's doing very well, then we can, and it's got the endorphins, it promotes development and healing. So it's just these different areas, I guess, different aspects of ourselves. So we live in this different time, and I think for any observers, they'll be interested to see how we cope and where we go from that. And then why they're interested, because in some ways they probably are related to us. They could even be from the future. They could even be future versions of us, like bots and things sent back by humans in the future, because there may be a time when the history gets wiped clean. And so in order to collect records, they've sent things back in the past. Maybe true history doesn't exist. Like nobody knows what's happened to certain tribes, like the Aztecs. I mean, they're just massacred by the Spanish. So it must have been more peaceful than we're led to believe. Like some barbarians who played a game where they chop the blooming person's head off if they lose, the captain or something. But but if they got slaughtered in the millions, then maybe not. And all that technology they had as well, where did it all go? Is it held up in the Vatican somewhere? I bet there's some records and information. And there's also some temples and places that are unexplored. They haven't become of any kind of interest, because a lot of stuff is driven by industry, certain industry type space sciences and so on. So archaeology is basically, if there's money for the project, they can go ahead. But equally, I mean, I could always fund something and do something myself. I wouldn't do it now though. I need to have a lot of money. If there's places, you can look on things like Google Maps, verify an area, and then research as much as you can in that area. But if something comes off the map that's quite unusual, then there could be something there worth of value. I think it's worth just documenting it. Worth not just taking from it. I've got this really weird feeling there's a crystal skull that hasn't been touched in one of these. I mean, there's loads of crystal skulls anyway, but there's something about one of these temples in the South Americas, and there's something there about it. But I have to have a look. I mean, there's temples and places untouched. They probably are got booby traps. It would be a bit like an Indiana Jones. There certainly would be creatures and creepy things. But there's also places in plain sight. There's a place like in India. It runs across the same axis as the pyramids of Giza. It's got all that connection. There's something like 33 degrees or something like that sort of connection links it. So if you follow that line around, you'll find other temples and sites, and the holy sites to that basically the meridian, or it's the ley line. And so there's a lot of undiscovered knowledge in there that, with an open mind, just explore it. What's it all about? And I mean, if I found anything, I think I'd just record it, and then I'd probably just chuck it on YouTube. But I definitely want to do some crazy trip somewhere. Like there's some of these islands that they say they've got like giants and stuff like that. So I just want evidence of weirdness. All these things, because of a cultural takeover, they just ignored them. The idea is if you're drawing on a cave wall, that you're so primitive that you couldn't develop any sort of technologies. And maybe actually that was the only form of paper you had around at the time. It's like if someone found it, I was writing on loo paper, they'd say, look, oh my God, this human, he writes on loo paper, he must be so primitive or something, or impoverished in some way. But actually it might be the only thing available at the time. And they might discredit it in some way based on where it's been written down. And that also happens with people, if they've got a degree, they've got a gold star by their name, and so if they say anything, they sort of, they sell it as the truth. This person's got this degree, how could they lie? But they only will tell you what's within their degree. They can't tell you what's outside of that, and they very much avoid that. They often avoid getting caught up in certain debates because it's outside of their remit. Some acknowledge that. They say, well, it's a bit beyond my remit, I deal with such and such, but not that. And if they do see some evidence, they might get excited about it, but they always have to say, well, not as a professional opinion, but as an opinion of the whatever, you know, this kind of thing. It's all this kind of legalese chucked in the English language. It's like this video, so I say, well, you know, I kind of am a researcher into the paradox and paranormal world we live in, different dimensions of what we exist in, but I am not degreed in it, because I don't think any degrees do. Well, they probably did. They did try to put things together, but they just made it like a cult thing, really. And by doing that, they probably damaged it, because it's from people outside. It's people who put together qualifications. You know, like I think parapsychology is developed quite well, but even so, it's got certain limitations. And then all you get is people shouting, like, "Woo, are you there?" and throwing rocks and stuff. So, well, if you can't sense they're there, then you need to work on developing that. I mean, technology will give you so much, but I can't think sort of coaxing them out is going to be the good way. And what for? Any kind of knowledge? No, just to know if you're there and if you can bloody move a pebble. I mean, you can understand why they don't engage. They think, does he think we're a baby? Or something. Who knows? Who knows? So yeah, so who knows? Just going back to the end of my subject, which starts with from the beginning. So there could be some things. I might have to have a look on the internet. Stories where people have like driven around and suddenly they've realised someone's in the back seat. Or has anyone had a creature entity like a shadow man turned up in the back of the car? Or have they heard something in the boot that's not there? You know, these sorts of things I have to explore, especially when you're out on the road. There's things where people like ghosts, isn't it? Ghost hitchhikers, or people who have turned up on the back of people's motorbikes when they've been driving. They suddenly felt these arms around them. So yeah, spooky stuff. Right. Anyway, peace on up. Then. Speak to you soon. Bye.